Hello and welcome to the Jolera interview series. I'm your host, Paolo del Nibletto, the Chief Channel Business for Jolera. This interview series features prominent executives from the IT industry, along with top influencers talking about technology innovation, the as-a-service market, leadership, and the overall marketplace. And today we have our first executive from outside of North America. We go to Italy, my parents' hometown, for Riccardo Sbarboro, the head of professional services for Veeam in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Riccardo is based in Milan, and his focus at Veeam is in program delivery, solution selling, process optimization, channel programs, along with coaching and team development. We're going to ask him about many of these areas and more. So please welcome Riccardo.
Welcome everybody.
Riccardo, thanks a lot for joining us today. Veeam plays in a crowded market in North America. Is it the same in Europe, and what's your go-to-market strategy there?
Yeah, what to say? It's a crowded market, but as many times happens, just few names are ahead for performances and technical advance. Mm-hmm. Veeam is for sure the company in the spotlight with a very solid and stable leadership for so many years now. The customers love Veeam, and we love our customers. For this reason, we strive every day to bring them the best products and the best experience.
You know, Riccardo, I'm interested to learn more about the market in Europe and even in Africa for as a service. You know, those that are dealing with, monthly recurring revenue streams for channel partners. How would you describe both areas in terms of the as a service area?
I'm in this business now for longer than 20 years, and I still remember colleagues that were dressing up with a white coat and black sleeves covers to enter a data center, Now, this is something that belongs to the far memories of the eldest, and it's very difficult to compare with the anywhere, anytime, any device approach we have. Since ever, there is a constant evolution, but today, the difficulties we are facing worldwide released a real revolution. The paradigm we were used to became suddenly old, and all the companies are required to look immediately at the cloud, at the remote working solution, at embracing a digital transformation journey, regardless if their core company business is technology or not. In these days, all the companies having the IT their core. Now, many companies are speeding up with their innovation plans, but trying still to limit the upfront costs. Infrastructures of premises, software license subscription, offering of platform softwares or anything as a service is the way that can link these two needs together. This changes for sure the business model for many partners, but some of them, and Jolera is one of those for sure, are taking benefits of this already.
I want to specifically ask you about Italy, the marketplace that you're based in. I come from Italian parents. I have a lot of family there, and they all tell me that business in Italy is more of an art form than a science. Can you talk about some of the challenges that you face in the Italy market?
Yeah, Italy, it's a different world. Now, the companies and the business everywhere are made by people.
Okay.
This is more true than elsewhere. Italy probably it's one of those. I'm not saying anything new when I speak, for example, about high context and low context culture. And Italy is for sure a high context culture that implies a lot of unspoken information are implicitly transferred during communication. People in a high context culture tend to place a larger importance on the long-term relationships and loyalty and have fewer rules and structured implemented. The good point is that the differences, even if still exist now, they are getting milded because of all the exchanges that today are happening all over the world. We are speaking now, we are interacting, and we are from the opposite side of the ocean.
Right. What about other places in Europe? Are there many differences like in maybe England, France, Germany, Portugal?
It is. When you say Europe or EMEA, even more in particular, because it adds Africa, Middle East, Eastern Europe to the picture, it's the greatest melting pot of different languages, culture, approaches you can find. It's quite different from, for example, from what you can find in Americas, where you all speak the same language or almost. So here in Europe, in EMEA, it's an unavailable set group of diversity, different cultures. So my answer is yes. We have many differences, and it's easy to understand if you compare Sweden to South Africa, for example, or Saudi Arabia.
So let's talk about Veeam and how you've addressed the lockdowns, the COVID-19 pandemic. How has this challenge been for you?
This is for everyone. This has been a very tough period on so many different levels. The health, the social interaction, the fear for the future. I was very lucky being in Veeam because it isn't just a solid company that kept growing even in these difficult months, but it is composed as well by people that care a lot about each other. So the company was very fair and supportive. So the most of our concerns and effort weren't about the business or whatever, but just to support friends and customers outside of the organization.
So you are in a really good position because you also manage all the channel programs throughout EMEA. So you have to deal with a lot of channel partners. What's been their perspective in terms of adapting and responding to this pandemic and lockdown?
As I said before, the business related to our products and solution wasn't impacted by the contingent situation.
Okay.
Companies had to invest even more in the digital transformation, and our offering is 100% aligned with that. By surprise, some partners had their best quarter ever under the push is around to the innovation. Of course, we are aware that this is a very particular, peculiar situation, and the impact suffered by many industries is real, and it's going to reach all the actors sooner or later. The economy is all linked together, but if you react and you stay on the right side, side of the business, trying to innovate, I think you are safe.
Okay. What about lessons learned from this year, Riccardo? What's been your experience? Have you seen any sort of unique business strategies during this time that has sort of worked? A lot of people say, remote working, virtual working, things like that. But what's been your experience?
I think that it's too early to talk about lesson learned. I think that during an emergency, you don't learn anything. You just try to survive and minimize the impact. The time of the learning will come just after that. We are not still there. One thing I'm sure about today is that the companies that were ready or almost kept their activities running, sustaining their countries, their business, and the communities around them. Companies that weren't ready struggled, and in certain cases, if not strong enough, they seized. Okay. Tomorrow, all the company will be called to transform or to die. I was saying before, you just need to be on the right side of the innovation and to leverage this innovation, this technical advantage for the benefits of your business and your community. Okay.
So from your experience during this year, more Europeans working remotely through virtual work because of the crisis? Is this now a trend now in Europe and in Africa, Middle East?
It depends. You were asking before about the differences in EMEA, and Europe is a very wide span of different experiences. In some countries, it was already very common. In the Nordics, probably. In others, not. But it is a matter of discussion everywhere now. Of course, there is a big difference between working from home a few days per week or 100% of the time as we are doing now. Working completely solely from home is stealing all the human interaction from the business. It's very bad, especially if you are Italian.
You're right about that, for sure.
Yeah.
Listen, Riccardo, you're a leader in this industry. What's been your style during a time of crisis?
I mean, I have a military background, and maybe because of that, I think that in any organization, if you have a leadership role, you need to take the hit first and to filter for the sake of the team or group of people you are ahead of. This is valid for family, business, for everything. So what I try to do is to pass over some optimistic messages to the present Veeam, and to present Veeam at least as a solid handhold to use during the storm.
So, Riccardo, you have a passion for mentoring, coaching, team building. Why and how have you brought that to the community?
I mean, the point is that, is there anything better or more satisfying than sharing your faults, your experiences, the lessons you learn with someone else? I look at that like, it's looking at yourself in a mirror, just better than you. You can avoid all the failure you had in that reflection you see in the others. I grow this passion because I was a wrestling coach for young adults and preserving them from the street experiences, the bad ones. Then in my professional career, I became a people manager, and then lately I'm the proud father of young children. Everything is driven by the genuine willingness and effort to support someone else's development to reach his or her goal, regardless if it's business, sports, or your family.
So outside of Veeam, you're part of the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride in Bergamo. I see a helmet in the back in your cubbyhole there. That looks like a lot of fun, Riccardo, but can you tell us a little bit more about that, and what does it mean to strive to achieve that?
Yeah, it's really a lot of fun. And if you like motorcycles or dressing up, you should experience that for sure at least once. The Distinguished Gentleman Ride is the biggest worldwide charity event, and it happens yearly to increase awareness and to raise funds for prostate cancer and men's mental health. It happens at the same time in over 100 countries and I think almost 700 cities in the world. As you said, I'm the host for the Bergamo ride, and I warn everyone, if you are in my network, sooner or later, I'll ask you to support and to donate. So keep your wallet ready.
I will. I got to tell you, the many times I've visited Italy, one of the fun times is going to see the motocross races in my parents' hometown of Abruzzi. Got to see people like Kenny Roberts and Valentino Rossi. It's amazing. Riccardo, anything else you want to add?
I want for sure to thank Jolera again for the effort and the commitment that is showing to Veeam and to the VSP program. As a vendor, we really need to have such a partner to whom entrust the implementation of our solution, the most important clients. The VSP program is the answer that Veeam is giving to the market in terms of the best of breed in professional services, and you are part of that. So we need you and your support. Thank you again.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I can add about partnership. When you become partners in business, you become partners as friends. And I think that's very, very important. But let me ask you finally, where can people follow you online or on social media?
I have a LinkedIn profile, and I'm a pretty open networker. So if you want to add me, anyone to reach me, I'm here, more than welcome. They are more than welcome and very happy to support or even to mentor someone if they need some guidance or suggestion on their professional life.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it from Riccardo Sbarboro, the head of Veeam Professional Services for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Thank you very much for joining us today, all the way from Italy. We certainly learned a lot about you and your markets and really, really appreciate it. That's it for me, Paolo Nibletto, signing off for the Jolera interview series. Until next time, so long.